Hi guys, Hengist here from House of Hengist Comics, and a big welcome back to the channel. Thank you for once again all your support. And today's something different. We're in Blitzkrieg episode 10, and this is entitled Panzer Tactics, and it's really an introduction to what we're going to start to be examining as we get into more actions with armour and basically around the muse and the operation around here. This map's quite interesting, dug up by Fearless, which shows all the infantry divisions and armoured divisions as they're moving through Luxembourg. Key to this when we're looking at maps is the recognition of symbols and understanding them, and ultimately looking to explore and understand tank action and how the panzers operated, because there are many myths surrounding the German forces in Blitzkrieg, and although we can see from these photographs a large mass of armour, so to speak, it's very clear when we start to explore Blitzkrieg and its Panzer Tactics that there is quite a lot of infantry support, and that a lot of the light armour did most of the legwork, because from what I understand, as you can see from this envelopment diagram of Blitzkrieg, when you contrast this against Deep Battle, which is the Russian sort of approach to this, and I do advise you stop and read these lovely little clips that we've dug out, because they're very interesting. But importantly, infantry, as you can see on these two wings, supports the keels as they're going up. Armour faces a lot of problems. Basically, it's okay one-to-one with other armour, but once you get into more complex types of combat, its operational scope has to change, and arcs are really important. Visibility isn't that great. If you've sat in a tank, you'll see it, especially these older tanks, you'll see you're very limited, so you have to use set mechanisms to sort of cover each other, so to speak, when you're operating. And these great photographs here sort of suggest, especially this Overwatch one, how two tanks are entering a village, or how they're turning here, as you can see to the left flank. Tanks basically have to operate in a sort of symmetry, so to speak, to cover all those arcs. So when we start looking at the panzer forces and we start to examine what's going on, I really need help on this, guys, because I'm not an expert, and there are plenty of people out there who know a lot more than we do, and we really need your help in trying to allow people to understand through our narration just a little bit more about what we can do within the war game to try and make tank tactics a little bit more authentic and a bit more interesting. We've got most of the tanks here. There's going to be Panzer 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, and of course we've also got other support elements which we haven't shown, which we've collected over time. And so, you know, with these Stugs, without their sort of machine guns per se, you know, they've got an important role to support the infantry, as do the Panzer IIs, who do so much of the legwork, it appears, in Blitzkrieg. I mean, the Panzer III is the most versatile of the tanks. The Panzer IV hasn't quite been up-geared into a more tank role. It's still considered a supporting role, and you could see why they needed all these Czech tanks from the Skoda factory. So when we've been building the rules and we're looking at it, we think the following sort of issues need to be catered for in any wargaming rules. The first is obviously the support assets that are available to the armour. Also, what are its problems in terrain, because there are a huge number of problems with vehicles crossing difficult terrain. It isn't a sort of cross-checks per se. I mean, these things break down and bog down, and they're a real problem to fix. Also, tanks don't like operating in an urban environment without support. They struggle in difficult conditions. There's all the problems of fuel and logistics as well for tanks. They don't have unlimited capability. They've also got problems if through damage, through shell fire, as you can see here. You know, how long before it's knocked out? So damage is important, and the replacing of armour is also quite a problem, because logistically you've got to get it up to the front. So there's so much that we need to really sort of examine in more detail to get a better understanding and a better grip on how effective the armour was. Obviously, we know historically it was a grand tactical approach that won this campaign, but we want to look at the other issues. So I'm hoping you guys can help, and if there's going to be a lot of tank action coming up in Blitzkrieg, and we're going to explore a lot more. So if you've got information, please send it in. And it's over and out from me now. But one last thing, do have a very pleasant day tomorrow, and hopefully you'll keep in touch with us, carry on supporting us as we take this campaign up a notch, as we sort of engage steel on steel. So bye for now.